Let's look at Unit 2 Scientific Notation. So we're going to take a look at how to write numbers in scientific notation. First, let's take a look at what vocabulary you would need to know when working with numbers written in scientific notation. Scientific notation is a way to express very big or very small numbers. Scientific notation is written as a multiplication expression in which the following items are true. The first factor is greater than or equal to 1, but less than 10. The second factor is you're always going to use a power of 10. And we have example and a non-example of what scientific notation should look like. So we're going to explore a little more. So right now, let's just concentrate on writing the notes, and we're going to do tons of examples. No worries. Standard notation, it's the number as we would normally write it. For example, 385. We have a power of 10 is a number in which a base is always going to be 10. Whenever you write in scientific notation, that base is always going to be 10. And it's always going to be raised to a given power or exponent. Big number. Any number that is larger than 1 or any small number that is between 0 and 1. How do I convert from standard notation to scientific notation? So remember, standard notation is a number we would normally write it. And you are going to learn how to write a number in proper scientific notation. So you have a number 782,600 we want to write that in scientific notation. So our very first step is for us to determine if the number is a big number or a small number. Big numbers are always going to be associated with a positive exponent. And small numbers are associated with negative exponents. So you're going to ask yourself, is 782,600 a big or small number? It's a big number. Will the exponent of the base 10 be positive or negative? If you say positive, you're correct. Step 2. We're going to find the decimal in the given number and count how many place values you need to move the decimal to create a number between 1 and 10. Once again, once we start practicing, you would see how easy, breezy this would be. How many place value did you have to move the decimal in 782,600 to create a number between 1 and 10? So let me just point out right here, the decimal, it's right behind the 0, and we're going to move 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You're going to move 5 times. We stop because our number is between 1 and 10. So we move 5 places. The last step is combine the information we gathered from step 1 and 2 to write the number in scientific notation. So here's our number all written in scientific notation. We have a factor. It's between 1 and 10. Always going to follow by a multiplication sign. Our power and our base would always be 10. How do I convert from scientific notation to standard notation? So given a scientific notation, how do I convert it to standard notation or a normal, regular number? So the first step is to determine if the number is big or small. Big numbers are associated with positive exponents, and small numbers associated with negative exponents. Now you're going to ask yourself, is the exponent of this scientific notation number, is it positive or negative? So let's look at the exponent right here. It's 10 to the negative 4th power. So if you said negative, you're correct. Does this represent a big number or a small number? Remember, the power tells us if our number is big or small. So if you say small, you are correct. Step 2, think about whether the new number would be bigger or smaller than the first factor. So we're going to move the decimal of the first factor, okay, the given number of place values, to write the new number. So here's our number written in scientific notation. It's telling me that's going to be a small number and I have to move it to the left. So it's going to represent a small number and I would move my decimal to the left to create a small number. Okay, once again, I know this is notes and it may not make any sense to you right now, but keep writing and we'll have tons and tons of practice, I assure you. The final step, write your final answer in standard notation. What is, and here's my scientific notation number, what does that number look like in standard notation? So we are going to move according to the exponent right here. It's negative and we have to move to the left and we would create our standard notation number.